Today, we're going to be telling the story of David and Goliath. Our story begins long ago in ancient Israel. The land was on edge as the Israelites and the Philistines, two rival armies, prepared for battle. The two armies were camped on opposite sides of a vast valley, each waiting for the other to make the first move. Among the Philistines was a giant, a warrior unlike any other. His name was Goliath. Standing over 9 feet tall, Goliath wore bronze armor that gleamed in the sunlight. His spear was so massive it seemed like a tree trunk, and his shield barrier walked ahead of him, ready to protect him. For 40 days, Goliath stepped forward to challenge the Israelites. His voice boomed as he mocked them. "Why bother with a full battle? Choose one man to fight me. If he wins, we will become your servants. But if I win, you will serve us." Not a single Israelite soldier stepped forward. Goliath was too big, too strong, and too terrifying. Even King Saul, the tallest and bravest among them, was silent. The Israelites were paralyzed with fear. Meanwhile, far from the battlefield, a young shepherd named David went about his daily life. David was the youngest of 8 brothers, a boy who spent his days caring for his family's sheep. But there was more to David than what it seemed. He was brave, quick-thinking, and deeply faithful. David had already faced danger. When a lion attacked his flock, David fought it off with his bare hands. When a bear tried to take his lamb, David chased it down and rescued the sheep. He trusted God to protect him in those moments, and God never let him down. One day, David's father Jesse asked him to take food to his brothers who were serving in the Israelite army. "Check on your brothers and bring back news," Jesse said. David set out immediately, eager to see the battlefield. Little did he know, his life was about to change forever. When David reached the camp, he found his brothers and handed them the food. But as he greeted them, Goliath stepped forward to issue his daily challenge. David was shocked. He turned to the soldiers nearby and asked, "Who is this Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The soldiers explained Goliath's challenge and added, "The king has promised great riches to the man who defeats him. Even his family will be honored." But David's oldest brother, Eliab, wasn't impressed. "Why are you even here?" he snapped. "You just want to watch the battle. Go back to your sheep." David ignored him. He couldn't understand why no one has stepped forward. "If God is with us, what do we have to fear?" he said. David's boldness caught the attention of King Saul. When Saul met him, he was skeptical. "You're just a boy," he said. "How can you fight this giant?" But David replied, "I fought lions and bears while protecting my sheep. God saved me from them, and he will save us from Goliath too." Saul finally agreed and offered David his own armor, but it was too big and heavy. David struggled to move and said, "I can't fight in this. I'll use what I know." David took his sling and chose 5 smooth stones from a nearby stream. Then, with nothing but his faith and his simple weapon, he walked onto the battlefield. When Goliath saw David, he laughed. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" he roared. But David stood his ground. "You come at me with sword and spear," he said, "but I come at you in the name of the Lord Almighty." Today, everyone will see that the battle belongs to God. As Goliath moved closer, David reached into his pouch, pulled out a stone, and slung it with accuracy. The stone hit Goliath square in the forehead. The giant staggered and fell, crashing to the ground. David ran to Goliath, took the giant's own sword, and ensured the victory. When the Philistines saw their champion defeated, they turned and fled. The Israelites chased them, their fear replaced by courage. The story of David and Goliath teaches us that real strength doesn't come from being the biggest, tallest, or strongest. It comes from having faith in God. When we face big problems or feel scared, like David did with Goliath, we can remember that God is always with us. With God's help, even the smallest person can do amazing things. It's also a reminder to trust God no matter what. David didn't use fancy armor or a big sword. He used what he had, and God made it enough. Sometimes, we might feel like we're not good enough or don't have what it takes, but God sees our hearts, and He knows we can succeed. This story also teaches us to be brave, not because we're never scared, but because we believe God is bigger than any problem. So whenever you feel like your Goliath is too big, remember, God is even bigger. You just have to trust Him, take a step, and He'll guide you through. Thank you for listening. We hope that you learned something new from this story. Until we're back with another video, bye and stay safe.